Hello, Amazon sellers. Today, I'm so excited to introduce Brandon Yan from Seller Systems and also who's the founder of Data Dive Tool. And his brands are doing over $20 million on Amazon. Is that right, Brandon?
Yeah, that's right. Good to be here. How are you?
I'm okay, Brandon. Thanks so much. What about you? I just saw you went on that Mexico trip.
Yeah, the trip was awesome. I think that there's a huge opportunity for factories and finding suppliers in Mexico over the next few years. The government is getting involved in investing and supporting the factory owners. And then the show that Tim Jordan and Amy Weiss put on, Evo Latam, is a really great mix of factories and sellers coming together. And then really, the more that they can get together and express what they need, the better the factories are going to get at delivering it, right? So a lot of them have capabilities around certain raw materials. So you have to be creative and work with them on manufacturing them. And uh, even thinking further outside the box, it would be around possibly bringing consultants from China to work with the factories and teach them how to deliver high quality goods at a high percentage of the time, faster, what equipment they need, what processes they need, what labor training and SOPs they need. And if you deliver that type of training as part of your partnership with the factory, maybe there's a huge opportunity there because you can turn over your money faster, you can drive it across the border. So yeah, I'm excited about finding factories in Mexico.
Yeah. This is definitely a great opportunity, and if it can positively affect profits, because of the logistics are better or whatever, and in general, it will be better if, Mexico economy grows. I think the US will benefit as well. So yeah, that's really great. So I have a question for you. Might be a little bit broad, but like all about keyword research, product optimization, product launch. So 2017 and 2023, what are the biggest differences in starting Amazon FBA private label?
I think in 2017, it was the way you launched was very different. There were a lot of things that you could do that are now against terms of service. So I think 2017, 2018, we were using a lot of giveaways. We were using highly discounted sales. Um, and then at some point in 2017, 2018, they changed the algorithm to where the steeper the discount, the less it counted towards your rank. So we used to be able to give away 99% off or 100% off. And if you gave away a certain number of units, you would help you rank. But that doesn't work anymore. We also used to run many chat funnels, and we've changed the launch process several times over the last few years, just in to stay terms of service compliant, TOS compliant, and that's probably the biggest thing. So you have to focus more on Amazon SEO, proper writing of your listing to establish authority and establish relevancy, and then send the right traffic signals, usually by paid ads within Amazon. So there's a much larger emphasis on high quality content. Content across all sellers is getting better. So yeah, it's a very different landscape, but it's still solved and still beatable. You just have to be more sophisticated yourself. You have to pay attention to more data, and you have to be really good at content.
Yeah, that's for sure. A lot of the gray hat tactics are gone, and they should be gone. And yeah, the brand building is very important, the influencers. So yeah, what about outside traffic for Amazon? I know you talked about this topic before. So how are you implementing this for your brands? What channels are working the best, like Google, Facebook, TikTok?
So we've been testing a few channels, mostly Google. I haven't done too much with TikTok influencers, but I think that I've developed products that other TikTok influencers have started promoting, and it's helped me because I think people see the type of product it is, and then there's no brand loyalty even on TikTok. So what they'll do is go search for those keywords, um, on Amazon, and we've seen a lift from that. What I would, I think that there's a huge opportunity if you can make outside traffic profitable and understand from a tacos perspective. So total advertising over total sales. Your Google ads might not be profitable individually, but they might lift your keyword ranks and help you so that your overall sales go up because you'll get more exposure, you'll get more organic clicks and sales, which don't cost you as much. Maybe your ads perform better, so you get a lower cost per click. So you can spend more money and it's not as good converting, but your overall profitability goes up, and that's kind of the goal there with outside traffic. So we're experimenting with some things. I think it works for some products, but not for others, and we're kind of really just trying to find out why it works for some and not others. And I think that there's a good opportunity for people to at least try it or explore it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We see, more positive results with Google, especially now there are some tools available that allow us to measure the results more accurately. So it can definitely, influence you positively. Just have to test it and be the right product. Okay. So yeah, Brandon, we are using Data Dive with our brand and with our clients. We have an Amazon brand and an agency, and it's been a great tool that allows us to do market research, take a look at our competitors where they're missing out. So could you maybe explain to someone who haven't tried Data Dive yet, what are the benefits and why should they check Data Dive out?
Yeah, I think it comes down, if you were to boil down what the tool does, because it's very complex with a lot of features, but it's very intuitive if you know how to sell on Amazon and you know what the purpose of selling on Amazon is. So if you just boil it down to like the best question that you can ask is, how are the current sellers getting their sales? You can be one of those current sellers and you can find out, Data Dive can show you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Or you can look at the current best sellers if you're not selling that product, and you can make the decision, are they doing a good job or are they doing a bad job? What are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? It also shows you what keywords are driving sales for a product. It shows you, you know, how much search volume there is around each of those search terms. And then it breaks the data down of the keywords into different repeated words and phrases so that you can understand how important each of those phrases are, the diversity of search that people are using on Amazon to purchase that product. And then we have the best listing builder available to Amazon sellers, because we make a quantifiable score for how your rank potential when you write your listing based on the data set and our understanding of Amazon's algorithm. So it's a very complex tool with a lot of moving parts, but I think that if you're willing to work hard in this business and you understand it, you'll have a huge advantage, obviously, over your competition. And it starts with just finding the 20 best sellers of a product, and then the tool breaks it all down for you and shows you about that niche. It says, this is everything you need to know. This is how to write your listing. And then these are the PPC keywords you should target. This is how you launch your product. And it just helps you from A to Z for deciding whether to even do the product, how many units to order, how to write your listing, how to launch it, how to do the PPC.
Yeah. It's a great tool, and I think we started using it like almost since beginning, like around last summer, I think, maybe even earlier, and it was still in Google Sheets. And it was, like pretty much a lot of things we did by ourselves, but a lot of things were manual. So, really saves so much time, but, also just that extra analysis and the quickness. And again, the ability to compare like your competitors' images. So yeah, really great. And another question related to Data Dive is, can you please tell more about Master Keyword List, what it is? Because the Data Dive helps us to get it, and it's really important, and Amazon sellers should know about it.
Yeah, so the best way to describe it would probably be that you have this giant table where it shows you across the top all of the best sellers that you selected, the 20 best sellers of that niche. And then down the columns, you see the keywords and you see the ranks of every competitor on every keyword. And then we break down the data from there. So you can tell what percentage of the search volume that drives sales for product that each competitor is ranked for, how many keywords they're ranked for, how many sales they get every month. Again, like, are there patterns with what they're ranked well for and what they're not ranked well for? So a lot of times we'll be able to identify that they didn't write a specific root word into their title, and so that competitor is lacking and on that root word, and you can beat them there. So where can you do a better job, and where are your competitors doing a great job, and all of that is in a visual display called the master keyword list.
Yeah, that's great. Master keyword list for sure. Something important to know. Okay, and we discussed it a little bit earlier. So a new Amazon seller who just started, should they try learning like as much as they can by themselves, like PPC, product optimization, or like start hiring VAs or executive from day one? What would be your advice?
I would never hire anyone if I don't have a solid knowledge of what I'm hiring for. And that goes pretty much for anything. You should have, even if you're hiring for within your business, not related to Amazon, you should understand the job description, the KPIs, and the permissions that role is going to have, so that and what that job entails. What are the SOPs? What are the KPIs? What is that person going to do on a daily basis? What does success look like? And if you don't have that defined, then you can't hire someone. And the same goes true for Amazon. If you don't understand what success looks like on PPC, what rules they should be following, how to properly set up your campaigns, what the goal should be for each product based on launch, growth, or maintenance. I think you need a high level understanding in order to hire someone and make sure that they're executing on a high level. Otherwise, you won't be able to give them a grade. You won't be able to tell if they're doing a good job. And the reality is, most of the service providers out there's only a few that are pretty good. The majority are not very good at Amazon. They're data analysts that don't look at the whole picture. They don't really understand the objective of every SKU. They can't give you suggestions on content or written content or optimization of your images or your writing to maximize rank. They don't look at your competitors. They don't have the daily view that your brand manager might have. There's a lot of reasons that a lot of the PPC agencies are not very good, but there are a few out there that actually have that holistic approach that are good. So, but if you don't know that, if you don't know how to grade them and what to do, what is right, then you can't tell if they're doing a good job.
Yeah, for sure. It is important to have that full view and understanding of how the creatives impact PPC and SEO, all of that. And that's something we try to focus on. And your teachings from Seller System definitely helps with this. And another question I have is about Amazon photography or creatives. So what is your approach when launching a product? Do you like try to make photo shoot based on your keyword research? And would you change the photo shoot multiple times, like during the product life cycle, maybe the data changes or something? So yeah.
So we're designing our main images before we often even choose to do the product, because we're going to test them. We're going to see if the design that we chose is going to convert. I think that's an important question to answer, because the biggest reason you can lose money, if you execute everything well and you're good at keyword research, you're good at optimization, you're good at writing a great listing and launch, the main reason a product will fail is because you chose one that people just don't like as much as the current bestsellers. So your click-through rate, your conversion rate is just always going to be lower. So you're not going to beat them. So yeah, we're going to test several main images once we establish that the design is good. And then we're going to either include the package or not include the package, include a model or not include a model, include the parts of the product or not include them, or combination of all of those three things, right? So we're really just trying to find what is the one that's going to resonate, what is the image that's going to resonate the most and get the highest click-through rate.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And so what are some of the SOPs at your company? Because I know it's very important. how do you give tasks to your team? How do they communicate? What KPIs they look out for? Because I feel like this is really something a lot of even like more upper Amazon sellers are really missing. And like I told you, we're kind of in a process of building more of a solid team. So yeah, that would be great to hear from you.
Yeah, I think that it changes as your team grows. You have a foundational set of SOPs around the processes of the business. But if you're an individual and you're doing everything, you should have your SOPs documented for what you're doing. But you're sitting in all those seats. We were talking about org chart before we started the call. And it's important that you understand what the org chart looks like, even if it's just you in every single seat, because you're the ones doing the product development, the product research, the sourcing, the logistics, the content, writing the listing, doing the PPC, managing the product. So you're sitting in all those seats, right? As you start to grow and you get to beyond 1 to 3 million, then you're going to start to hire specialists on your team that can handle one of those seats. So you need to evaluate yourself and say, what was I doing a good job doing? What was I doing a bad job doing? And then you can decide what you enjoy doing and what you don't enjoy doing. And once you kind of find an intersection there, you can decide which seats you should replace. Now, the SOPs start to become more complicated as you start to layer your org chart. So once you get to 10 million and you want to go to 50 million, now you have associates that you're hiring that are being trained by juniors. And then you have juniors that are overseeing a couple associates who are overseen by a senior, and a senior has a few juniors. And you have a branch and an org chart of communication SOPs, how different teams are talking to each other, when and how they're pushing directions to your content team to potentially look at something, maybe redo the content or rewrite something, or look at the package and redesign the package. But it all filters through that same progression of product research, validation, sourcing, logistics, samples, shipping it here, and then content design, and then launch, PPC, and then the management of the product after that. And so it gets more complicated as your team grows, but for the most part, from the very beginning, you need to understand each of those learning curves. Maybe as you're going through, you can learn it the first time, but you have 4 college level degrees that you need to learn in order to do this business right.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. And that's why your seller system program is a great source for anyone who is looking to up their Amazon game, right? So could you tell more about that? Who is it ideal for, and maybe who's not it ideal for?
I appreciate that. So really, it's like a college level course that has all those different, all that different content. We've redone the content over and over again. We're about to do it again on a third, like for private label 3.0, which should be launching by the end of March. And we do 5 to 10 live classes every single month. Our calendar is always full with classes, with experts, with different topics. Then we do every week the Ask Me Anything, the office hours calls. What I would say is we have over 200 hours of content currently that we're trying to boil back down to make it easier and more bite-sized, right? But if you're not good with data, if you're impatient, if you don't have at least $10,000 to $20,000 to start your business, that's probably not right for you. But that's why we give that free class, right? Like we give that free masterclass on the website, because honestly, I'm doing that as a qualifier. I want you, the people that watch that, to look at it and watch it and really understand the business. And it's a complicated class. It's a couple, 2 to 3 hours. It really goes deep. And the purpose is that when people watch that, they're either going to be lost and decide the business isn't right for them, or they're going to understand it and they're going to understand the real opportunity of it and they're going to join. But I'd rather that they figure it out for free than to give me money and figure it out later. Because if you're going to join and give me money and not do anything with it, I'd rather you not join. I don't need your money. So, it's there's a reason that we have such a solid community, 1,000 members, 400 7 and 8 figure sellers, a very high success rate, is because the content is the highest level of any course out there. The community is a very high level and interactive, and help each other and have that abundance mentality. And I'm very proud of that. It's less about running ads and getting as many people into the course as possible, and more about making sure everyone that joins has what they need to succeed.
Yeah, for sure, definitely, and I can confirm that, as me and my business partner are part of Seller Systems, and we implemented a lot of Brandon's teachings to our business that really helped us and to start the agency. And we'll have all the links down below, so anyone interested can check it out. And yeah, it's definitely for someone who really wants to work, who really wants to learn. It's not about, those flashy ads you see all over these days about fast results. Like, this is serious business, for someone who's looking to build a real brand. And yeah, it requires your involvement, it requires work, but definitely what Brandon has to offer is top-notch knowledge, and he has to back it up with his own brands, right?
Yeah, I think that's also what really distinguishes what we do versus the majority of people teaching, is that we have our own brands that, are doing 20 plus million this year, hopefully 35 million. And the goal is that we learn there. And then what we learn, we teach. And then what we teach, we automate with the software. And then our team gets to use the software, and it becomes this really nice flywheel and really nice ecosystem that supports each other. And the feedback we get from students, the feedback we get from our employees, our brands, what we're trying and what's working, what's not working for us. And as things change, we know it right away because of that. So I think that's what's unique is the fact that we're real sellers as well.
Yeah, definitely the community matters, and that you pay attention to feedback. And yeah, this is a great ecosystem. And again, this is why we decided to more emerge as an agency, because I've been managing like PPC for years, but since like we had real results with our brand, and we just saw like there are too many people who are like more talking about clients' results or past business results once they did an exit, but like we were more working in the back all the time. And like we're not into like crazy 8 figures, but we're really growing, and we have some nice results. But even a lot of our clients are way bigger brands than us, but still we have the experience of what we're doing on their accounts. We did it on our accounts, just sometimes at maybe smaller scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, Brandon, I just have a few small questions if you got a few more minutes. And I think
I got one for you really quickly. I'm really interested. What has been the biggest challenge for you with starting an agency, to switching from doing it for your own brands to being an agency?
Well, honestly, it's not like even related to the business, but probably like the situation in Ukraine, because just I was planning to leave the country and like go to conferences, meet people, and maybe meet some clients, potential clients. So I couldn't do that. So that's a challenge, but that's okay. I decided to switch more online, and definitely a lot of opportunity here. And yeah, another challenge is we had some electricity problems, but thank God I'm with electricity now, so it's more or less sorted out.
Sounds great. I'm glad that you're safe and that you're in a position to be able to continue to work. My thoughts are with you guys over there.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, we're here on the ground and helping other people, supporting the economy. Yeah, that's also important. And we got a lot of support. Okay, yeah, but I actually have a question for you, and question for me, and question for a lot of other people. Like, what's your advice for young entrepreneurs, especially someone who's starting online e-commerce business? What route to go? Because too much bad advice, too much scam out of these days. And when you're a young person, when I was starting on Amazon back 5 years ago, it was a miracle that I kind of went the right direction. So yeah, what's your advice?
So learn from someone who's actually doing it, and then be patient, right? With any business that you're going to start. As a young entrepreneur, it's very easy to get shiny object syndrome and try to flip your cash very quickly. So you're going to want to go from idea to idea to idea. And the reality is, you never give yourself enough time to be successful. And patience usually comes with age, and with experience. But if you're going to go all in on a business model, you should have realistic expectations about what your goals should be and work backwards from those, and then what the timeline should be on those. So if and be specific and measurable about your goals. So if you want to start an Amazon business, especially private label, right? If you don't have a lot of cash, maybe look into arbitrage or wholesale or something where you can flip your cash faster, figure out something else to get some cash. But if you want to start an Amazon business and you've got $20,000, make a goal to do, $200,000 in sales in your first year, or a goal to launch 3 products in your first year. So by February 28th, 2024, I will have 3 products active in Amazon selling that are successful. Then you need to work backwards from there, and then you'll start to as you learn more, you'll realize, okay, not every product I launch is going to be successful. So let's say I keep half, then maybe I need to launch 6 products to keep 3 by then. So now I need to launch 6 products. How do I launch 6 products? I need to get probably 12 samples. In order to get 12 samples, I need to look at 1,200 products or 600 products. I need to really, really dive deep into the data on 600 products. And then for each 100 products, I order 2 samples. For every 2 samples, I'd make an order. But now you're figuring out a way to work backwards. And the leading activity is going to be learning how to do proper product research, how to validate products, right? So set specific and measurable goals, work backwards from those, be patient, and understand the true timeline on things. And then even a year from now, you have 3 active products. Your business might only be cash flowing and making you, $5,000-$10,000 a month profit. You're probably going to put the majority of that back into the business to keep growing it, right? Because that's not a lot. You need to get into a position where you can reinvest and keep scaling and compound your growth. That's where you can get to a multi-million-dollar business in 2 years. So be realistic about resources required, about timelines, and about how complicated the business is. Always be willing to learn. I think that that's the biggest thing, that impatience and thinking you know everything, especially if you're smart, that's where a lot of the young entrepreneurs fail. Be humble and always be seeking new knowledge and be willing to learn from everyone. There's always something to learn from everyone. And if you're hungry for knowledge, you're hungry to learn, and you're patient, you'll be successful.
Yeah, that's 100%. And honestly, some things that I didn't apply to myself, especially for young entrepreneurs, being patient, and trying to learn, and realizing that you're not the smartest person, for sure. And I think this is some great advice for young entrepreneurs. Well, I have another question. So it's pretty hot topic. ChatGPT, is there any real use for Amazon sellers at all? Or is it, mostly just hype right now?
I think Data Dive, we're working on integrating AI into Data Dive, but we're in a unique position because we've got the data set, we've got the best data set of keywords, and that's what we're good at, is data. And so if you your inputs into AI dictate how good your outputs are. Your AI can only be as good as your inputs. And so we feel like we have the best inputs, which means we're going to get the best outputs, especially when we understand how the algorithm works, and we can put our algorithm to work within the AI and give them the right constraints and bumpers. We were trying this 6 months ago, but the previous AI we were working with wasn't good enough. ChatGPT is good enough in version 3. Version 4 is a few months away. It's just supposed to be 1,000 times better than this one, which is hard to believe, but it is. So I think that there's a world where AI is going to be used right away from us for writing your listing and optimizing it. The next thing we're going to do is create AI that drives ads. So there's a couple things you need to know about AI. First is that it's dumb at first, and it requires a lot of information, right? It needs a lot of data to really learn. And then, but the more data it gets on the input side, the smarter it's going to get. Now, the second part of that is that you also, again, need to program the AI of what to look at. If you're just giving it a set of data and it doesn't know what it's looking at and doesn't understand how to interpret the data points, it's still going to stay dumb. And so I think our understanding of Amazon's algorithm and marketing and PPC is some of the best in the world. So we're going to be able to tell it the hundreds of points to be looking at, so that when there's one trigger that it does, like one action it does, what are all the effects? What are all the inputs that it needs to keep track of? And then, so our goal is, as we develop our PPC tools beyond version 1 in the next couple months, version, which is just rules based and pretty good. We'll have a nice dashboard and very good rules. I think within a year, 12 to 18 months, we can get to a position where we have true machine learning making changes for you, a true AI driven marketing tool. And we're moving in that direction, but it's complicated. But you asked specifically about ChatGPT, which is more text based. I think that written listings are coming in the next couple months with no problem from Data Dive.
Yeah, for sure. We're playing around with it as well. And yeah, there definitely might be some potential. Interesting to see where it's going to be even in a few months. Yeah. Okay. So, Brandon, yeah, I think this is we discussed a lot of great topics. So, if there is anything else you want to mention, otherwise, I feel like I learned a lot by myself. My brain is all working today, and hopefully, people learn something and they can use the links below to find your resources. So, yeah, any advice for the day?
No, I think that's it, man. I don't want to overwhelm people, but the biggest thing is get started. Understand yourself, your capabilities, and be patient. I'll make sure that I get you a discount code so that you're linking below, so that everyone
Oh,
that's listening and
great.
watching, I'll make sure that there's a nice discount code involved as well to get them a discount on Data Dive or the Inner Circle.
Awesome.
As you know, Inner Circle members get $100 off per month on Data Dive, so saves you $1,200 a year right away. And if you have a partner, it saves you even more, because like you save even more for each seat you have as an Inner Circle member. So really having a Data Dive membership and one teammate can pay for the Inner Circle. So it doesn't make sense not to join, especially with all the content, the live classes, the community, and everything else you get. So I'll send you a discount code to share, and I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Brandon. That's definitely great value, the discount code. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. It's such an honor and a lot of value, and we should definitely catch up sometime later.
Sounds good,
Okay.
brother. Stay safe.